Hello everyone and welcome back to Scandinavian Design 101. I'm Sanna.
I'm Andreas and we are two Swedes and we love design. Today we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to talk about cheap design that looks expensive. And we will do so by giving you a lot of examples of great pieces of design possible to find for often ridiculously small amounts of money. And we're doing this video in contrast to what we're usually talking about. Famous designers and their iconic pieces of furniture. And frankly, the truth is, most of us can't afford filling our homes with expensive icons by designers like Finn Juhl and Wegner. And it's therefore important to remember that you don't need to be a millionaire to buy nice vintage furniture. We're taking a look at some Scandinavian online auction sites and we'll give you examples of good quality design for an affordable price.
Yeah. First, some general guidelines to keep in mind when buying furniture. Most important, find out what kind of things you personally prefer and don't let trends stop you from buying the things you like. You shouldn't just research for famous names when looking at auction sites. Instead of searching for Arne Jacobsen, for example, when looking for new dining chairs, go to the category dining room furniture and scroll through the whole category. It will definitely take a lot of time, but it's gonna be worth it. And then if you find something you like, don't skip buying it because it's cheap. It's a fact that low prices often prevents people from buying something at auction, believing there's something wrong with the object. But just because few other people have showed interest in a piece of furniture, it doesn't mean it's a poor choice for you.
First, let's take a look at sofas. As we all know, it's very expensive to buy a new sofa in the furniture store, and design sofas are often hard to come by for a reasonable price if you're searching for names like Poul Kjærholm and Mario Bellini or something. But sofas in general are actually quite cheap at auction. Guess the reason is that they're bulky and in contrast to, for example, lamps, you only need one large sofa in your home.
Yeah.
The market is simply quite small for second-hand sofas. And our first example is actually a sofa we bought for ourselves a couple of months ago. And we were looking for a comfortable and good-looking leather sofa and found this one for just $200 actually. Yeah, we're not sure who made it, but it's of great quality and fits perfect in our home. And according to us, it was a great find.
Yes, of course.
It was a great find. Yeah.
Another example is this sofa by Jörgen Gammelgård, produced by Erik Jörgensen. It was sold at Lauritz for just over $200. And it's a great alternative to the minimalistic sofas by Börje Mogensen, for example.
And this sofa by Rud Tygesen was a real find at Auctionet last year, sold for only just over $50. And it wasn't in top-notch condition, but the leather sofa doesn't have to be. It's easy to clean and freshen up.
Yeah. And if you're into 30s and 40s organic-looking sofas, they're actually quite easy to find too, even if you can't afford buying something by Viggo Boesen or Carl Malmsten. One example is this sofa and matching easy chair sold for $20 on Auctionet. Remember though that it's really expensive to reupholster a sofa. Leather is easy and relatively cheap to refurbish, but textile is not.
No, but I like the textile on this one.
Yeah, super pretty. And now we're going to show you some more cheap yet expensive looking sofas recently sold at auction.
Another category of furniture you really should check out at auction is cabinets.
Yay.
Especially high quality pieces produced by cabinet makers in the 30s and 40s. They should cost a lot of money considering the quality and not least usability, but they're often sold for close to nothing. And even if you don't live in a large house, don't be afraid of buying a large cabinet. You don't really need, all this unused floor space.
No, why?
It's better to have a beautiful piece of furniture to store all your things in.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one little problem, of course. Shipping can be quite expensive, but if the cabinet itself is really cheap, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Nope.
No.
It's cheap anyway.
Yeah.
The first cabinet is a beautiful piece made from elm tree and rosewood with neoclassical inlays, sold at Auctionet for $160. A lot of storage and practical drawers, as you can see. Search for Art Deco 1930s or 40s, and we'll promise you find a lot of interesting things.
Yes. And the next example is an over-decorated cabinet made back in the 20s or 30s. And some people might think this is tacky, but in the right surroundings it will look great and grand.
Yeah.
It was sold at Auctionet and it was sold for $80. And a wisdom here is dare to buy something different and unique.
Yeah, you really should.
Yeah.
And if you prefer modern-looking furniture, it's far from difficult to find several nice pieces for a great price. One example is this clean teak cabinet designed by Kirke Nielsen for Abrahamssons möbelfabrik in the 60s, sold at Auctionet for as little as $60.
Yeah.
Instead of searching for famous designers, search for more general words like teak or sideboard. Those words are the same in Swedish as in English.
Yeah, we say sideboard in Swedish too, yeah.
And here's some other nice yet affordable cabinets recently sold.
Another category of furniture we have to talk about is dining groups. We all need a nice dining set in the kitchen. And personally, we have chosen to place different chairs around our table. It's fun to have several different chairs, and it's often easy to find a single chair for a great price. But if you prefer a matching set of chairs around the table, it won't be difficult to find one for a great price. As we mentioned earlier, the key is to search beyond the most famous designers. Instead of the Great Danes, why not buy less famous Swedish chairs, for example? You should search for manufacturers like Troeds and Svenska Möbelfabrikerna in Bodafors. But don't forget all the no-name furniture out there. It's not a piece of crap just because an auction house hasn't been able to identify the designers.
No.
I mean, they don't spend any time searching for the designers behind it. No, they don't have time for it.
Bertil Fridhagen designed quite a few great pieces of furniture for Svenska Möbelfabrikerna, and they are often a bargain at auction. One example is this streamlined dining group designed in 1957, and it was sold at Auctionet for as little as $160.
Yeah, that's cheap. And you should always look for unidentified dining chairs. And one affordable example is this kind of exclusive looking chairs sold by the auction house Lauritz for just over $100. I mean, for 6 chairs. Yeah.
It's nothing.
No.
Normally, we're talking about design furniture, but we still have to talk about traditional period furniture. When decorating your home, it can be a great idea to mix up the modern teak and rosewood furniture with traditional-looking pieces. They often look much more expensive than they are, and an eclectic home is definitely more exciting than a home filled with nothing but mid-century icons. We have to divide these furniture into 2 different categories: the antique furniture made back in the days and the replicas produced much later. In the mid-19th century, traditional furniture types became popular and a huge lot of excessive replicas were produced.
Let's take a look at some drawers recently sold. They are all looking like traditional 18th century pieces, but are produced in the mid-20th century. And all of them were sold for between $100 and $200. Some people consider them to be old-fashioned and something your grandmother would own, but it has just to do with the surroundings. But be aware here, the quality differs a lot. Make sure to take a close look at the pictures if you want to buy one of these at auction. And another small problem. There's often Rio rosewood inlays, and that can be a legal problem. Rio rosewood is illegal to buy or export without a permit. So if you're unsure about the laws, contact the auction house prior to bidding.
Yeah. But we also have the real deal, the furniture made back in the 18th century and early 19th century. And most people believe they are extremely expensive, but that's not always the case. One example is this early 18th century cabinet sold at Auctionet. It's large, cocky, and really useful in a modern home. Why have an IKEA wardrobe when you can buy this antique cabinet for as little as $470?
And this was some examples of quite affordable furniture that looks really expensive.
According to us.
Yeah, according to us. And we guess you know by now we're really tired of all these white and minimalistic homes seen on Instagram and in interior magazines. And personally, we prefer eclectic and interesting homes with personality.
Yay.
And why not mix up minimalistic mid-century furniture with antique cabinets and no-name pieces? It doesn't have to be expensive, and you have a real one-of-a-kind home that really looks interesting. It will take some time scrolling through hundreds and hundreds of listings at auction sites like Auctionet and Lauritz, and you will have to figure out your personal style and preferences, but it's definitely worth the effort.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. And if you liked this video, please check out our previous videos. We have like hundreds of videos about design.
Really
yeah.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.